Hey folks, it's Lindsey Huddleston back in the building with Sports Psychology Solutions, doing it again. Don't stop, won't stop. I am in my hometown, Detroit, Michigan, on East Jefferson at the Motor City Smoothie Company with the man himself, Mr. Chuck Bailey, proprietor, opinionator, the man who makes it happen, doing great things. I'm glad I was able to get down with you on this evening as you wrap up things to support what you got going on here, man, and just connect with the man who's making it happen. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Blessed, man. That's the only thing I can say.
Blessed indeed. Well, just, seeing your business online is one thing, but just for those who haven't entered the doors, when I come in here, I just feel positive energy. It feels real positive. The music is playing, whether it's Najee or whatnot, but it's just some real good energy. So what brought this idea together, the Motor City Smoothie Company?
The idea came about 2 years ago. I was me and my brother, we was going back and forth, and the kids, we was going back to, I'm not going to say our competitors, but a lot of people know, we was going to the smoothie shop, and we kept going every day. And I'm like, dang, me and him was sitting there, and then I went to look into franchising. You know what I'm saying? I started doing some research on franchising, and once I did my homework and stuff like that, it wasn't conducive to our people. You know what I'm saying? When I say our people, our culture of people.
It was difficult to break in. It was difficult to get into that industry.
You can get in, but there are some parameters and stuff that wasn't conducive to the city of Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had all these different rules and different.
So without saying it, almost redlined us out where we couldn't even do it based on how the numbers were and how the parameters were.
Yeah, and then on top of it, from an investment standpoint, it didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? I got to give you $300,000 so I can make $60,000 a year, and I'm making you millions. And that's back to that slave, to me. That's that slave mentality. You know what I'm saying? That I'm gonna give you some type of security. You're gonna give me some money so I can give you security. No, I'm gonna gamble on myself, G.
Well, I think that's the point we get into, and I'm glad you starting us off with that, because that can really talk about the mental toughness and how you feel and how your life experiences got you to this point. But how people will look at something and say, well, if I have this brand name behind me, I came out of 300 racks, but I'm gonna be okay because I got it. But they can get a lot of people like that. A lot of people be like, okay, look who I'm with and I'm good. In other words, you might as well go work for somebody else like that, in my opinion.
I mean, shit, I can, it came out to about 60 grand you would make a year, and then there's some other little perks to it, but for me, the type of guy that I am, you know what I'm saying, I'm like, no, forget that.
Well, that's what I wanted to get at, Chuck. What is it about you where you can go to a smoothie store every day with your guy and realize this is a lifestyle thing that you like because you're doing it, and then look around and say, one, let me investigate what they're doing, because a lot of people won't even do that, and two, say, that's not a good deal, I can do better. How does that work, man? Everyone's not sitting like that.
Yeah, I mean, it take, I'm always, I gamble on myself any day. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we go back to them 2 years ago with my, sitting there with my brother, and it was like, no, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I can do this. I mean, it just, to me, put it like this, God gave me a gift. You know what I mean? To be able to look at something. And if I want to do it, I can. He gave me the gift to be able to make it manifest. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's bringing people together, whether it's, something as simple as, something, I ain't even gonna call it simple, but something like, what we got going here, Motor City Smoothie Company. I mean,
because we look up and you was up, like, hey,
yeah, it took me 45 days.
Wow.
I had this was up in 45 days. Wow. August, I signed my lease here August 16th, 17th. I broke ground September 1st. October 15th, we was open.
Wow, just like that.
Yeah, we was open.
Well, speaking of open, let's talk about this menu, man. Tell me some highlights of the menu as we look at your menu.
Okay, so we got the Motor City Fleetwood. Everything is Detroit based. Everything from the name.
I heard you say Coleman Young. Give me one of them Coleman Youngs.
Everything is Detroit based. You know what I'm saying? From the names, like our city blends. Our city blends, that's our smoothies. So I named them after cars and other little stuff, like we got a Motor City Charger, Motor City 300.
The Motor City Charger?
Yeah, okay. Charger. We got a Fleetwood.
So let me ask you this. How do your patrons respond when they come in, they look at the menu, and they see this Detroit theme thing? How do they respond to that?
I mean, they, especially in this area, man, it's a food desert over here. There ain't really a lot of, healthy, a lot of food options, let alone healthy food options. And, our people, man, sometimes it seems like we don't love each other, but we do really love our city, and we love, we love each other. You know what I'm saying? So when they come in, they see, damn, you got a Coleman Young up there, sandwich up there. You got a big Cadillac. Like
what's on the Coleman Young? I gotta know what's on
the Coleman Young. That's the corned beef, coleslaw, honey mustard.
Wow.
So I can,
You about to say I can cook? I can get down.
Yeah, we can make it. And I was making these sandwiches during the COVID. You know what I'm saying? We stuck in the house. Right. I'm sitting there like, dang, you know what I mean? Right. Like, these are sandwiches that we was making, you know what I mean, while we stuck in the house.
Sure. Chuck, it's easy to see you're a humble guy, but you're very confident who you are. When I would see you out on the sports scene, you always had a presence. You was always commanding something, doing something, and that comes easy for you. But tell me about the part when you said, I'm ready to do this, and I got these ideas, and naturally, weren't there some naysayers? Weren't there people saying,
oh, man, I almost got into a fight.
You almost got into a fight?
Man, I was at a friend of mine's. Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay.
My guy, he'll tell you who Ernest Glover is.
I know, yeah, Glove
was in there. Was there.
Glove always where the happens.
Yeah,
Shout out to Glove.
Yeah, my guy Glove was there. And I got to explain it. This was 2 years ago. Got to explain an idea, and I was explaining it to somebody else. And then there was this guy that was there.
Random.
It was a random guy. I didn't even know this guy from a can of paint.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it wasn't nothing but God, really. I'm telling him, explaining it and stuff like that. He like, these ain't buying those smoothies. He had to be drunk or on some type of drug. So
but he was being who he was.
He was being who. I mean, and I. What happened was, I appreciate him. I appreciate the devil. You know what I mean? I hate to say it like that, but for trying to come at me because it made
you steal your reserve and get more focus.
Yeah. Because that wasn't up at the devil.
How did you respond to him? How did it happen?
So, long story short, we getting into, we exchanging words. So it wasn't even no heated exchange on my end. He was getting rowdy, and I'm like, sir, how do you know these? I'm talking, because I know me, I'm a big presence.
Yeah.
I stand up. He threatened. I don't know if he got a pistol or nothing like that. And that's part of my life, who I am right now, being a big man.
Sure.
But anyway, heated exchange. Next thing I know, I say, you know what? I told my friend, I said, I'm gonna leave. I was so angry because I wanted to whoop dog. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Coming from where I'm from over here on the east side.
Tell me about it.
How you gonna tell me?
And then you a stranger. You was up in here.
Yeah, you don't even know.
With nobody.
You don't even know me, man. I'll twist your up.
Yeah.
I'll twist your damn head off your body. You gonna tell me what? You know what I mean? You don't know me from a can of paint. You don't know. And I'm on the west side, and I'm from the east side.
Right.
We can get down. You feel me?
I feel you.
You know what I mean? So that happened. You know what I'm saying? That was one incident. Then I came to a lot of family, friends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Came to family, friends.
Fundraising, trying to get supporters, investors.
Yeah, investors. Everybody shot it down. Everybody shot the idea down. Like, man, I don't think that's gonna work. They are, us as a race, we but we don't invest into each other. We invest in Chick-fil-A or
all day. Because that brand recognition is supposed
to but instead of investing into your own people, you know what I'm saying? So my people kind of laughed it off. Looked it over.
Let me ask you a question right there, because now I want to talk about not just the mental toughness, but the mental health. How does that make you feel? That point where you're making your rounds and you're not getting the responses you expected. How did you feel in that moment?
I felt, I felt like, dang, like my people don't really, my people ain't, they ain't really supported. They don't think it's gonna go.
Did you second guess yourself then?
Not at that time. No, I didn't. I didn't second guess myself. I said I'm gonna make it. And it was a female friend. She was a female friend at the time, and she kind of pushed me to it. You know what I'm saying? She was like,
ladies had a way of doing that sometimes.
Yeah, she like, But then I did have a lot of people who was big on it, you're gonna do, but they probably just didn't have the money, or they was like going do it, but they wasn't you know, you got a lot of people that say go do it, but they ain't gonna put their money up.
I need you to step up and do certain things by a certain amount of time.
Exactly. So they, with that saying, a lot of people, you know, they shot the idea down. They shot it down all the way up until just recently, even recently when I, when I did it. So that was 2 years ago. So I was going through some things in my life and stuff like that, trying to get some organization in my life. And I sat on the idea for 2 years, and then it came back up. Shoot, maybe 90 days ago. I came back up. My son, Little Chuck, was in Vegas.
Little Chuck doing well out here.
Yeah, he was in Vegas training during the COVID time. He was in Vegas, and he called me like, Dad, they got Tropical Smoothie open until 2 a.m. out here. I'm like, first of all, what you doing up at 2 a.m.? You know what I'm saying? In the streets. But then it hit me like, I need to revisit the idea. You know what I'm saying? So at the time, I had the fun. I had a few dollars. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna gamble on myself, and I'm gonna figure this one out. So I actually had to go to Vegas to watch him. He was playing in a little tournament with a team out there in Vegas, and went out there, and on a plane ride to Vegas, I did everything. Take that back. My barber going to Vegas prior to me going, I went and got a haircut. My barber, I'm looking for, he like, man, you remember that smoothie thing you was talking about doing, man? It's a beautiful spot over here on Jefferson next to this salon. Go check it out. So I went and checked it out. Called the landlord. Shout out to Mr. Cures. Mr. Cures is a wonderful guy, man. He the owner of the strip mall. River. He was like, it was Riverbend Plaza. Yeah. And I called, and when I called on the phone, the leasing agent. I mean, not the leasing agent, but the leasing agent. He was like, we set up a meeting, but he was like, when you come with a meeting, you need to come with a business plan. You need to come with your tax returns. You need to come with, showing all this stuff. So at that time, I just had the idea. I ain't had a business plan. Right. So I called, but I had like notes and stuff that I wanted to do. Sure. So at the time, I called a friend of mine, love her to death. She, big, she, but she might have just been busy, but she kind of spent me. When I sent her the idea, like, here, turn this into the business plan. She kind of spent me. Yeah. And but she probably was just busy. She busy. You know what I'm saying? I love her to death. And she spent me, but I said, you know what? I do this shit myself, which I've always been like that. And everything I've done, I always come to people to come in and be a part of it. But for some reason, God never allowed people. He always allowed me to just do it. Son, do it your own. You don't really need people. You can, with my help, we gonna get through this. So shoot, I hopped on a flight to go to Vegas, put my headphones on, and I just got the right. I'm like, man, I'm a Michigan alum. You a D grad. I could figure out a business plan myself. Wrote the business plan out. Did everything. I wrote the business plan. I did the menu. I did the design of the building. Wow. My layout. Right. I did even all the way down to I did the whole thing. How much my employees gonna make. Right. I did everything on a 3.5 hour flight to Las Vegas.
Before you touched down to Vegas.
And the reason I had to do it, because that when I came back that following Friday, I had a meeting with the owner of the complex. Sure. So I put it all together on a 3.5 hour flight to Vegas. Wrote it all down. Put it all together. Oh, she wrote.
And we are here at the Motor City Smoothie Company with the proprietor Chuck Bailey. It's a great space. You got a great team in here doing some things. We're looking at doing some things going further. We're going to be back here on Friday for the pregame for the King High School versus Warren Woods. We're going to go down there and check them out. But I thank you for coming in as a supporter and sponsor for this team of the week. So you giving back to sports is a really good thing. What touches your heart to do things like that?
I mean, I grew up like that, man. My parents instilled things like that, instilled that in me as a kid, giving back. You know what I'm saying? I remember, like my father, my mom, like going to a family who ain't had, you know, lights and gas was cut off. I remember my parents taking, as a little, I had to be about 4 or 5, maybe 5 or 6 years old, and they, you know, taking food over there. And I remember going to the house, and you know, it was just
not liking what you saw.
Yeah, not like what I saw. So I said to myself, I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying? And I just grew up like that. I always give back. I mean, every year I do my Hoops for Hope event. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. Where we do the Christmas Classic, and I started off, you know, I started all of this stuff off doing free basketball clinics. I was playing ball overseas. I come home every summer, do a camp called Camp in the Hood, and I mean, it's just me, man. It's just who I am.
When we talk about what you've done, when you've been a brother who grew up in the city, had the experience of playing ball on a high level, playing professionally, but then there's always seemed to be a disconnect for a lot of people, because after the hooping is done, after the playing stops, it seems that a lot of guys have trouble getting back to that prominence, but you seem to be able to potentially make a transition, if that makes sense, that from what you've experienced to where you are now, and still feeling like the sky's the limit with what you can do.
Yeah. I mean, while I was playing, you know, I was always fortunate enough to have a older vet on my team, who, when I played, and I remember like all the vets that I was playing with, they had to keep playing because they was telling me, they was like, every time they go home, they couldn't get a job, or they couldn't make nothing happen because they had no work experience. They had, you know, they had a disconnect with their city, stuff like that. So
wow, that's
so saying that to say, while I was playing, I come home every summer, you know, I do something, you know what I'm saying, to keep me, you know, keep my relationships built in the city, whether it's my free clinics, whether I go downtown, so youth detention center downtown, I go in there, do some free basketball clinics, and you know what I mean, like I just always do stuff and kept my name, kept me, you know, kept who I am, and you know, kept the, you know, the connection there, in terms of me to my city.
Right, that's important, and especially when you talk about that disconnect. But with the time we have, what can you tell those who are watching? What is it about Motor City that makes them want to travel wherever they're coming from, to come through these doors and not do it once, but do it more than once?
It's our food, man. We got some.
Yeah, I see them cheese quesadillas sitting over there.
We gonna get active on that.
Shout out to Penny for putting them together.
Yeah. We got the cheese. Yeah, the cheese quesadilla actually not even on our menu. We just added that to our menu this week.
And what's on it?
You got the jalapeno cheese wraps, tortilla wraps.
Ooh.
You got the chicken. You got the grilled chunk chicken. You got the 3 cheeses. And then you have the diced bell peppers, and then you got a sauce of your choice. You can do a ranch dressing, and you got a honey mustard.
Oh, delicious.
I mean, you got whatever type of ranch. I mean, whatever sauce, dipping sauce of choice. But you know, our food it's just good, man. Our stuff dope, man. Our smoothies is really good. Our house favorite is the Supreme sandwich. One of our house, you know, sandwiches that sells all the time is the Big 3 and the Coleman Young. The Coleman Young that go crazy.
Anytime you got a Coleman Young on the menu, you got to get it.
Yeah, our food slap, man.
I believe
our food, man. Ain't nobody messing with us.
Well, what we want to do, we want to get people to get a chance to come on down. We're going to be back here from 4 to 6 on Friday at pregame before I go over to King High School for the game of the week as they go forward in the playoffs. But also bringing a good vibe. People can come. They can chop it up. We're talking about sports, entrepreneurship, and just giving back. So I'll let you be the last voice stay here before we get out. Anything you want to share before we go?
Just gamble on yourself.
I like that.
Gamble on yourself, because you can't be mad at the results.
Can't be mad, but you got to put in that work though.
Put your work in. Gamble on yourself. Put your work in. That way you won't be mad at the results. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's the type of model I live.
Well, I like that. I'll take that. Well, you're hearing it from Chuck Bailey. Gamble on yourself, but it is not a gamble when you come to Motor City Smoothie. You come here, they go get you straight.
Oh yeah.
And I appreciate it. And we'll be in the building. So Lindsay Hudson with SPS. We'll get up. I appreciate you, Chuck.
My guy.
All right.